Hey, good morning. How's it going? On this episode of Home Water Dispatch, I'm at one of my research sites in the Caribbean, and it's the morning of my departure after a pretty darn amazing week of working with a local nonprofit called Beyond the Reef and collaborating on a pretty cool project that focuses on the movement ecology of lots of different critters. First focusing on sharks and looking at their movement patterns and space use and what that means for their conservation, and looking for areas that might be critically important to their life history. And so thinking about how we can use different tools in our toolbox for conservation and management, like maybe marine protected areas or just broader awareness, education outreach, all that stuff, to think about how we're going to protect these animals. And there's also spatial overlap in some of these areas with other species like bonefish and tarpon and eagle rays and all these other things that there might be some areas that have overlapping significance that kind of amplifies the need for protecting certain parts of this sort of beautiful coastline or regions of the Caribbean. And so, and we sort of use our collective knowledge to start building a foundation for sort of developing these ideas. And that collective knowledge really, in my mind, is, starts with a conversation. It starts with people's ideas, hypotheses, local ecological knowledge, these concepts that we use quite a bit. When I teach in my classroom, we talk about it a lot. When we write scientific papers, we talk about talking to the stakeholders. But it's more than that, right? And I think this is where we kind of have to have this broader sense of awareness of this idea of co-production or knowledge co-production and what that really means. And the patience that we need to work with collaborators to listen and to appreciate their connection to these wonderful places. These are their home waters, they're not mine. And thinking about how we develop scientific tools based on their questions, based on their interests, based on their needs for their region, and how we can work collaboratively to answer those questions. And this concept of knowledge co-production goes beyond engagement, right? We talk about angler engagement and stakeholder engagement. It's more than that, right? It takes an extra layer of understanding and patience and trust and time that often people aren't willing to do the work to understand the importance of this place to the community, and the connections of this place to the broader region, and also what it means to sort of sustainable development for small islands like this where I'm at, where there's a fairly good tourism-based economy, but we know tourism can be fragile. Think about what happened during 9/11 or global recessions, right? And so there are things that we need to take into consideration when we were sort of, oh, beautiful, sorry, sunrise, check that out. That we have to take into consideration as we're developing collaborative partnerships where we're from the outside, but we can bring resources and tools and our ears and our hearts, and we can really develop these fun and productive collaborations that are truly based on this idea of knowledge co-production. We can't discount the years of knowledge people have about these environments. It might not be scientific, it might, but it is systematic. Over time, they learn about these places, and as we build trust with folks in this sort of pathway of knowledge co-production, we have to operate at a pace that allows us to really take to heart the experiences that they've had, and how that can be wrapped up into this idea of sort of collaboratively working towards new knowledge that can help with the conservation and management and protection of these home waters and the species that are important to the community and again to the broader region. So I don't know, I've been reflecting on this a lot, because I think even in my domain, many of my colleagues or collaborators, we often don't use the terms co-production or stakeholder engagement. We kind of use them kind of loosey-goosey, and I'm not sure if many people really think about what it really means, and how it takes time and patience to really do it right. And I think we have to have a really good place in your heart and have that patience. Otherwise, we're going to miss opportunities to really help folks take care of their home waters, and for future generations to play in, to appreciate, and to enjoy, and even just for the intrinsic values of nature. There's other folk over there enjoying this wonderful beach in the morning. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling again, as I usually do towards the end of my home water dispatch episodes. I'll cut it off there, but I'll again share this beautiful sunrise that's happening over my shoulder here, and hope you have a wonderful day, and stay tuned for more episodes of Home Water Dispatch. Cheers.